applying reason to problems, approaching things from a rational, logical perspective, understanding that there are a lot of factors that go into decisions that we make as a community. But if we at least start with logic and reason, generally speaking, we can get to the right place. The other thing is being imaginative about how we approach problems. I believe he's been that too, and I applaud that and believe that that's something that I can do myself. And being able to get along with people. That's an important quality. You can't get along with everybody. That's just human nature. You can't get along with everybody. But you should at least try to get along with people, even people who you think are your enemies or people who don't mean you well. How you respond to them is as indicative of who you are as it is of the person who doesn't like you.
And how do you handle those situations when you as a member of the board make a decision that there may be a lot of people, not are opposed to?
Right.
So how do you deal with those, having to confront those individuals?
Right, and when you're in public office, it's just a fact of life that people are going to disagree with things that you do. To me, the proper approach is to confront it directly and to say, look, I know you disagree with me. I understand your position. I want you to understand my position. And even after I explain my position, you still may not agree with me. And I accept that. But I think people respect if you'll come to them, speak to them, look them in the eye and tell them why you believe the way you believe, why you made the decision that you made. People can accept that. They don't believe that they always have to agree with you. But what they want to know is that you are being thoughtful about it. What they want to know is that you are respecting their opinion and that you just come to a different result. And so that's what I try to do. For example, we had our budget, as I spoke about a moment ago. We had some disagreements there within our party and with the other party. And what I tried to do was to talk to, mostly it's my Republican colleagues, about why I believe we ought to go the way we did with the budget. And we disagreed. Nobody likes a tax increase. I don't like a tax increase. But the fact of the matter is that if we're going to continue to provide the services that we provide, which are still reduced from the recession times, we've got to get the revenue. And it's important that that revenue come from everywhere in the community, not just be burdened on just one sector of the community. So even though we had that disagreement about tax rate increase, I believe that I considered their proposals. I believe I thought about them. And I believe I respected their views about it, even though I came to a different conclusion. And I think that's what we have to do on every problem, because these are tough issues we're dealing with.
Sir.
They're tough issues, and we've got to be able to talk about them in a respectful way, even if we disagree strongly with each other.
And the final point is coming to a conclusion that, it's like I said, what's best for the community? It's needed, because there's a lot of things that comes along with raising the taxes. There's a lot of programs that are in need because of that funding.
Right. And so take, for example, the Park and Rec Department. Our Park and Rec department in the county is the jewel of the nation. In other words, our Park and Rec department just won a national award for basically the best Park and Rec department in the country. This is huge. At the same time, we have not gotten back to the pre-recession operation of the Park and Rec department, meaning that we had a certain number of employees before the recession hit. Then we cut that almost in half, and we still have not gotten back there, even today, even with this budget. We talk about maintenance schedules of our park facilities, from greenways to park buildings to the parks themselves. We still haven't gotten back to the maintenance schedule that we need to be on to make these the best parks they can be. So what I'm saying is that even though we've had the tax increase, we still have not gotten back to where we were before the recession hit. So we just have to decide that what's important to us. Park and Rec is important to us because it reflects on the quality of life of our community. So if we say that, then that means that we've got to make the sacrifices to make that be the best it can be. Similarly with education. People say that, you know, we give Charlotte Mecklenburg schools too much money. And so they say the answer is that we cut funding for CMS. And I say, well, we always talk about how important education is. That's what everybody says. But when it comes time to fund education, suddenly that's where we need to cut. And I say you can't improve education by cutting its resources. You certainly can use those resources more efficiently. You can demand better performance. But I don't think cutting resources is the answer. So all these issues, these are big issues. All these issues are important, and I believe that the budget we've passed helps us to continue along the line to providing the services that this community is demanding and that it needs.
Another part that you probably fund is with the crime rate, the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. I think they probably receive some funding as well from the...
Well, we have, the county has an agreement with, an interlocal agreement with the city to provide police services in the areas of Mecklenburg County that are basically unincorporated. So Matthews has its own police force, and Pine Hill does, Mint Hill does, and Pineville do. So other than providing those services in those unincorporated areas, generally we don't fund Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. We do fund the Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
And all of the Sheriff's Office funding comes through the county. And we have a terrific Sheriff's Office.
Oh, yes, sir.
Chip Bailey, our sheriff, is really terrific. We're sorry he's not going to run again,
No.
but he's run a terrific office. And so all of that money is money very well spent. So that's where our law enforcement money goes.
I know they have a lot of programs inside that detention center to rehabilitate a lot of individuals that a lot of people are not aware of that comes from a lot of that funding. These programs, they're needed to get us, the individuals that has gotten into some type of legal issue, some type of means of rehabilitating while they're in that area.
Absolutely, and I think Sheriff Bailey has been really a leader in creating these kinds of programs, because he knows that the people who come in there, if we're going to stop them from coming through this revolving door in and out of jail, we've got to give them some skills, give them some reason to do something other than committing crime.
Correct.
And the only way we can do that is by providing education through the GED programs that are provided in the jails, through helping people even learn horticulture. I mean, it's remarkable what can be done if you pay attention to folks who are there, particularly young folks, help them understand that there's something to life other than committing crime.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that his focus on that is absolutely critical to the fact that we've reduced crime in our community, and also we've reduced the need for jail space. That I believe those are all results of things that Sheriff Bailey has done.
Speaking on another side about Mr. Trevor Fuller, let's talk about your parents and what impact they have on your life, and how.
Sure. What impact? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Listen, as I said, we're all a product
Correct.
of our families, of our parents, and I'll tell you, my mom especially was so focused on making sure me and my sisters received a great education. That was the absolute basis. She would not accept anything less than that.
Yes, sir.
And it's that kind of persistence, that kind of insistence on education that I believe has helped lead me to where I am today. In fact, during the campaign, my folks came down during the primary to help man the polling locations during early voting and on election day during the primary. And then they came back again in November to help again to work the polls and on election day. So I can't speak enough about how important my parents are to my life. And I spoke about this at my first commission meeting, giving thanks particularly to my mother about what she's done to bring me to where I am today. So that's an important subject to me.
And it should be, because when they look at yourself and how you are today, it's all a reflection of them.
Absolutely.
And you're doing a great job, sir.
Well, I thank you so much for saying that, Paul.
You know, and
it means a lot to me.
We're proud. I'm proud of everything that you're doing in this community, and you know, we look for nothing but the success for yourself.
Thank you so much, and I intend to continue to work toward that success. I'm only getting started, but I feel like I'm making some progress. I still want to be interacting with every part of our community, not just some parts, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that.
As you move on in your political field, is there another position that you probably interested in getting involved in?
See, now you're trying to start trouble.
Oh, come on, sir. That's what it's all about. Come on now. We're looking into the future.
Well, I tell you, here's the way I think about it. I want to do the best job I can do as a county commissioner. And so I expect to be running next year for re-election. And I believe if I focus myself on that, any other opportunities, if there are any, will present themselves. Look, everybody who's in politics has some interest in advancing, and I do too. But I think the important thing right now is to focus on doing the best job I can do where I am, and that's what I'm focusing on. Because again, I think if you do what you do and do it well, you're going to find that opportunities present themselves to you.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller, for coming on the show, and we wish nothing but the best for yourself. Thank you for coming on the show. And anytime you want to come on the Paul Brown Show and discuss some topics, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Paul. You are a great person. Thank
you
so much.
Too, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Mr. Trevor Fuller. He's our Mecklenburg County Commissioner at Large. Outstanding individual. Thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged. The Paul Brown Show. Chief Rodney Monroe, Darrell Williams, Mr. Patrick Cannon, Mr. Calvin Seabrook.
And set goals and go for it.
There's an opportunity that's always before us.
I tell my wife I enjoy every morning when I get up putting on this uniform.
We want to help build hope and help change lives.
Paul Brown Show, every Thursday at 5:30 on Access 21. You be encouraged.